Well, rather than spend time working on this right now, I want to get the motor out of the old backhoe. Finish driving this pin out, and then we'll use the front end loader to lift that heavy cylinder and bring it over to where the other cylinders are. Oh, just moving over there and back to move that cylinder was a pain because this power steering is really sluggish, so I gotta do something about it sooner than later. So the funny thing about this power steering system is it actually calls for automatic transmission fluid in the power steering system, so go figure. And I've got a little bit left here. I'll have to pick some more up at the store, but we'll see if that solves the problem. Well, I put everything I had left in here, which is only about a third of a quart. That wasn't enough. The level's still low. Well, even though the level still says it's low, that little bit of fluid I put in there did the trick. So now it's back to the scrap work here. So I guess I should do something productive, try and do something productive with the daylight that's left. Things left to do on the Oliver are quite a few, but what comes to mind immediately is on the backhoe, this cylinder leaks. So this cylinder is going to need new seals. And then that cylinder right there was just gushing out fluid. But the weird thing about that one is this whole outer nut here is backed off, and you can actually see the O-ring in there. So the question is, why on earth would that be out like that? Let's see, on closer examination I can see this is completely split. So this has got some major issues. I'm gonna have to take this cylinder off. Then over here on the control sticks, we got the whole problem of where I snapped 3 out of the 6 off with that mishap I had early on out in the woods trying to get this thing on there. And then I also bent this rod that they ride on, which the rod is actually hollow because there's actually a grease fitting on the end here, and the idea is you pump grease into this Zerk fitting over here, and then that would actually, there must be holes in there that would allow these to all get lubricated, which is kind of a nice idea. But the problem now is that I can't figure out how this rod comes out. When the rod was straight, I'm wondering what held it in there, because there's no clip or anything on this end. And then over on this end, it looks like that's what's left of the fitting was on there. That got snapped off, I guess. And then, so I don't know, but the thing's got a really bad crown to it, so I'm wondering whether or not, for starters, if I should try and just see if I can bend this back. Maybe with some blows with a big maul, maybe I can actually bend that. Now the only chance I have of straightening this is if I can get it out of here and put it in a press. So I just banged back on this side, and that kind of made this Zerk fitting come out a little more, and I just dug some of this grease out of here. And I wonder if I take that fitting off and then bang it that way, maybe I can just get it to pop out. Okay, got the Zerk fitting out, or what's left of it. Now, the question is, will it now clear that, clear this if I tap it in? I was kind of perplexed as to what holds this pin in, because, you know, there's nothing on this side that indicates that it's being held in. There's just the Zerk fitting on this side. And then it occurred to me, I forgot that there was a cover that I took off that covers this whole part right here. I think. So I'm thinking maybe the cover goes over the ends here, and that's what keeps that pin captive. So with the cover off, I think this pin is designed to be able to slide right out if it wasn't so badly bent. So that being said, I should be able to just use this drift and tap this out. Oh, that seemed to work. So now, I think if I can get this off to the side just far enough and then tap it back this way, I might be able to remove it, the whole thing. Just leave behind the ones that are still hooked up, which is actually only one of them. Got a couple of these off, and now you can really see how badly that's bent. Really did a number on that. This one doesn't even want to move because it won't go past this bent spot. So now, this up in this position here, clearing this side, if I take my vice grips off, I should be able to bang that back out that way. Huh. Doesn't want to come out past a certain point here, and I'm worried that I'm going to start peening this over on this end. Let's see, maybe if now that I have a couple off of this end, I should be able to pop this back down. Let's see if I pop this end back down. Easier said than done. I'm thinking is if I get this back down in there and then push through straight, maybe that'll work. I need two hands. Alright, this pin definitely does not want to go out in this direction. Pounded on that pretty hard and it just does not want to go that way. It has to go out this way. So, if the pin was straight, it would have gone out already. But the reason why it's not is because what's happening is this part right here, this lever, can't make it past the severe part of the bend. You can see I can get it up to about there and it stops. I hit it back that way, but I'm going to have to try and force it past here because that's the only way I'm going to get this out. Aha! Found that if I pulled that end out and angled it up and wiggled it as I pulled, I was able to get it out this far. So that makes me think that this will go through that way. I'll try and tap it out now, and if it doesn't, then I'll back it back out and I'll get my grinder and I'll grind off the very edge there where I kind of banged it over with the hammer. Alright, so I'm going to use my angle grinder with a stone on it, and I'm just going to grind off this. You can see this raised edge here, and then hopefully I'll be able to knock this pin out. Luke, I am your father. Alright, I'm going to give that a try. Should have just done that in the first place. That was too easy. Slipped right out. Alright, so now I can take off most of these other ones except for the one that's stuck right on the high spot. I managed to get the last one almost all the way off. I just need a drift. And now with it off, you can really see the bend in this thing. So hopefully I'll be able to straighten this out in the press enough to make it usable. Well, the hydraulic system for the loader and backhoe could certainly use some attention. I don't like the noises I'm hearing out of the hydraulic pump up front. The hydraulics are very noisy and they hesitate. And I'm pretty sure the fluid level's low. So I know the fluid's contaminated based on when I was out in the woods trying to hook up that backhoe. All of the fluid that was coming out was milky white. So it's about time I did something about that. So I think I should take a look at this return filter and see what it looks like. Well, I just opened up this drain and some pretty disgusting stuff's coming out of the filter. And then I'm going to take this bolt out, take this filter out and see what filter's in there and get a new filter ordered up. That's about all I'm going to do for today. This wind is really making it cold out here. That's what the filter looks like. I don't know what that disgusting sludge is on the top. Well, no numbers on that filter. Hopefully I can identify it by the housing. The housing is a Vickers on this side, and over here it looks like it says OFM 101. I have to do some research.